Hi there, everyone. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolie Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And we'd like to welcome you to today's show where we are covering all aspects of the spectrum, going from a place of, is this nonsense, real, deluded, all the way to self-love, wisdom, and power.
Yes, yeah, no, it's going to be interesting actually because we're touching on some things that are, well, I don't know. You're going to judge it for yourself. I think that's the key thing. You'll
Yes.
use your discernment, you'll make your own decisions, your own views on these things. But we've uncovered some really amazing things that have been going on out there that it is worth knowing about. And yet, where this takes us to ultimately, as Joe says, is kind of like us stepping back into our power and magnificence at the end, and it kind of like all comes around full circle to that empowering thing. So yeah, and I think what we're going to do, if that's okay with you, Joe, we'll just dive straight into that first piece by Kristen.
Yes.
Yes.
Very fascinating. Hold on to your hats.
Yes. Cranial retention helmets locked in place. But
Absolutely.
but yeah, so bear with me a second. We're going to switch screens. We're just going to do that first little piece, just to give you a prophecy of something that is coming up, which is a very specific interest to people in California. But you'll see it all for yourself. Just bear with me a second.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Husted, and I have been delivering messages for the past 2 weeks on channeled messages or divine messages from Sophia, who is the wisdom of ages, who is the feminine essence of the Holy Spirit. And it has been a driving force for me to get these messages out. I have been sitting on these messages for almost a year and not knowing what to do with them. And then I got a grand calling to start sharing them. And I feel very sober today because I have been getting a message all year long about the issue that we're going to talk about today, or the subject we're going to talk about today. But it's been coming so profound lately that I have to share it. And I ask for you to open your hearts to hear what you're supposed to hear and to be in a place of acceptance of what is right for you. I pray to God that I'm wrong. I would be okay being that crazy person who got up on YouTube and said something. But if I am hearing correctly, and this is truly what is going to be, then I want to be diligent about listening to what Spirit is telling me to tell you in order to maybe help save lives. You ask about the heavy moments that are upon society, and we say all will be okay. Yes, the earth will go through a grand rift soon. We say soon. We mean in your earthly month of February. California will be no longer. Cities will fall into the ocean as if they never existed before. Land masses will change, and the earth will swallow up old cities in order to rebuild new ones. The earth's topography will change, and a grand renewal will be upon the land. The earthquake will happen in San Francisco on February 18th. The light must be spread. The timelines must collapse, as this event will wipe out cities as if they never existed. Many millions will lose their lives, but only those who have chosen to do so. You see, it is all part of a grand plan to rebirth a new civilization. It will be in San Francisco, a massive rift on February 18th. One that the world has never known, a deep cut into the earth's crust that will split the land and cut in two. No one is there who will survive, for it will happen in a moment, a spark, a shift, and then it will be done. The devastation will be grand, but again, we want to remind you that this life is just a journey of soul. Your true essence is one of divine spirit. You and those of the earth cannot die. It is impossible. It is just a transformation back to your light body to return to the heavens. All will be okay. It always has been, because you see, this is a dream. So please relax as we tell you this. You must warn people that they have a choice to leave or not to. You must make a video on this to awaken the souls who choose to live on this path of renewal on the earthly realm. Patterns of light codes of awakening love will emanate through you as you deliver the message. Be of sound mind and calm spirit as we translate this message through you. Those who need to hear will hear. Those who think it is rubbish will stay. The choice is for each individual to decide. The time is now. The time is now. Nowhere in all of Earth's history has such a massive upheaval in the land occurred. It is like no other, engulfing all who are within the path of destruction. Now we must go on to the hope. The hope is now. The hope is in the now. Each person on Earth will start to awaken to themselves the power of their intuition. They will know to store food. They will know to have clean water supplies. They will be drawn to collect candles, flashlights, generators, as this time starts to come upon all. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and trust this process of grand awakening. Be still and know that all will be okay. This is a massive evolutionary shift we are under, and no one can escape the power that is upon the land right now. This is your time to deliver the message of hope. This is your time to step out and trust. We have asked you to do this. We say thank you. Thank you for trusting us, for the time is now. The time is now. And so as you can see, I can see why I had to go in 3 times, 3 days in a row to make sure I was hearing correctly.
Right, and we're back. So again, a fascinating message. Now, this is where we all get to exercise our discernment, okay? Because this is a very startling kind of prophecy, right? And this is a very immediate future. We're talking about, within 2.5 weeks. So, and at the end of the day, I kind of listened to that, and I've seen the entire video. And at the end of the program, I will put the link to the entire Kristen prophecy, because she goes through this in more detail and explains, etc., the connection that she makes and what it all means, albeit that encapsulates the headlines, right? So that is really something that, is it likely to happen? I don't think it will happen. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I don't expect it to happen. But at the end of the day, I was very impressed by the explanation and the fact that, when people die in any natural disasters, they do so with the agreement of their soul. That's what they came in to do. And that's something which I find enormous comfort in when you see things happening around the world, and particularly when it's things that, like even the genocide acts and things like that. The people who die, they knew it was in their soul contract that they were going to do this, because by doing this, they help to awaken people. And in the knowledge that we never die anyway, right? We're just a soul on a journey. We're a soul having a human experience. You go back to the other side, and then you decide on what your next role is going to be, and it will probably be aligned with what you have been through. So I don't know. I'm impressed by the explanation, the fact that it's a journey of soul. We cannot die. And a lot of people, it could well be there are a lot of people on the planet who are set to go back over these next years ahead. Whether it's the 18th of February or not, I doubt it. But again, I just say to people, it's a time of intuition. I mean, what do you think, Jolie? I mean, the intuition thing, right?
Correct. I think that neutrality is a great place to sit when we're watching these things. Our experience of people who have made predictions about the, young man with the clapboard and the, clapper, the end is coming,
Yeah.
we've seen this for generation after generation. So we're very, how can I say, we are jaded at these predictions of the world ending. That's why we sit in a place of doubt. Nevertheless, back full circle with the intuition, definitely listen. Because I know that oftentimes, or in our lives, different people have felt something's off today, and then boom, they're in an accident. Or I feel weird, and then boom, you get a call that something has happened, good or bad. So the intuition is definitely a big aspect of tuning in to stay safe, feel grounded and connected. Support systems, information networks to stay aware. But in this case, I too have a lot of doubt because of what I've explained. However, the creator is real, miracles happen, people are channels of light and blessings. So we sit and in a place of hopefully sending love to San Francisco. Maybe that's what is needed. Sending joy, but staying in a grounded reality while also being able to access the energy from the divine.
Mm. Yes, yes, absolutely. And, you know, and again, with all these events that are going on at the moment, which are creating the chaos and all the rest of it, you know, which is mainly more political and the likes. Uh, but at the end of the day, I firmly believe that everything is in divine order. This is part of the plan. That
Yeah.
everything has to kind of like where we talked about it before, you know, everything is coming down through into that funnel where you go into that nexus point where everything
Yes.
changes through the portal out the other side and you go out into rapid expansion and a higher dimension. But you've got to go through that void, I suppose, that
Right. That
uh,
canal, they call it like a birth canal, like a new age, a new birth, a new reality. It's that word new coming in. It's a rebirth. So although it may look like struggle, it may look like failure, it may look like pain, it is holistically a part of getting us to unspeakable beauty. And it's also here to remind us our perspective matters. And so if we do we need to struggle? Do we need to have this very narrow canal to go through? Or is there something else, some other way? Like the myth of or the story about the children of of Israel moving through the Red Sea, right? And how it either some people believe it split. I was taught that it tunneled like a womb, right? That makes sense. It tunnels as they were moving from one state to the next, right? So you think about that. You think
mm,
about the miracles that can happen once we all align and have a positive perspective towards these things. It could be seen as information. I mean, is our heart-centered coherence, is that possible? Do we believe that it's possible to make transformation, positive transformation?
mm, yeah. No, I think it's a really super point because you know, to me, the way I really expect things to be is that, you know, the higher your frequency is vibrating at, for a start, why wouldn't you, right? Because that's when life is fun. That's because you're living in
Right.
joy. At the very worst, you're dealing in you know, you're living in divine neutrality, but you've got that inner peace. You've got all the, you know, the love and laughter and stuff going on as best you can, you know, depending on your circumstances. But absolutely, you know, we're not supposed to live only on one side of the emotional spiral. We are
Right.
supposed to have the full human experience. But by maintaining a high frequency, you're setting your timelines to one where you don't feel the struggle and attract the struggle. Because again, it comes down to that Alan Watts thing, right?
Yeah.
Because the more you focus on the struggle, the more you are feeding your energy to the struggle.
Correct. Yes. And it's when it happens because we're human. So we kind of ebb and flow with this sometimes. But it's just about having those markers, those tools to help you get back into that frequency. And then all of a sudden, you're more in that frequency than you aren't. But it is a practice.
It is. It is definitely. And I think that once you build it into your life in a consistent way, then after a while, you know, it's got like with anything, if you're trying to drive a car, you start off with conscious incompetence and you finish up with unconscious competence, right? And that's exactly the same kind of thing.
Yes. Bingo.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what do you think, Jolie? Should we move on to our next section?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Right, thank you very much. So, what it is here, we are going to talk about. We're going to take a little piece from the Redacted channel, which I am impressed with. You know, he's a man who shines a light into the dark, if you like, and uncovers things, and you know, pretty fearless in the way he approaches things. And this particular section, I think it's really eye-opening, and you'll see it unfolding, and it also falls into place neatly with what is to follow. So the first talk is of Havana syndrome. And for those who don't know what Havana syndrome is, which I didn't, it was back in 2016 in Havana, American diplomats started all struggling with a form of illness, of problems where they were hearing noises in their head and they were struggling with migraines and various other things. And it was discovered that they had within their bloodstream, they had taken on some technology that had been implanted in them, and that they were kind of became human antennas. And that was what they discovered Havana syndrome to be. Anyway, with that explanation, I'm going to switch screens and let the story unfold. Thank you.
Well, it turns out Havana syndrome is real. Our next guest has been documenting it for years, but then after the COVID vaccine rollout, suddenly he started noticing incredible similarities, increases in complaints coming forward that 100% were identical to what he was seeing with Havana syndrome. He's featured in a new documentary that might be the most mind-blowing report we've ever seen on the COVID vaccine. It looks at the shots in our bodies almost acting as transmitters, broadcasting signals. And one of the most eye-opening scenes from the trailer shows signals being received, and then the camera pans back and you realize the signals are coming from underground, 6 feet underground, in the corpses in the graveyard. People that had taken the shot, now dead, but still sending a signal. Watch.
Way back in 1778, the Continental Congress unanimously passed America's first whistleblower law.
I did this clearly at my own jeopardy.
It recognized the duty to give the earliest information to Congress of any misconduct, frauds, or misdemeanors committed by anyone working for government.
The information I'm presenting is made as a protected communication under Title 10 USC 1034 as a whistleblower.
246 years later, whistleblowers have an incredible record of changing the course of history.
In late October of 2019, I was approached by leadership. There were 5 clients and there was a vendor in the room. The vendor was BioNTech. These are the notes that I took during the conversation of the meeting with the stakeholders for the contact tracing application. Took the fabric of my reality and just roughed it. I mean, it just made me question everything.
Government is going to grant themselves powers unilaterally to create greater control over American society and global society.
COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize
upload complete
total biometric surveillance.
It's always the data. It's the crack cocaine of Silicon Valley. We are already living inside the architecture of totalitarianism.
We need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin.
I know my husband is not vaccinating people and putting a microchip in their arm because that technology doesn't even exist and he's never uttered the words out of his mouth, so.
Microchips and tracking devices are embedded in the vaccine. Is this accurate?
We have 6 MAC addresses that are pulsing Bluetooth signals, and all we are is surrounded by tombstones.
So can someone explain to me why we're getting EMF emissions off a grave inside of a Faraday cage, please?
So we've seen the reports of individuals having unlicensed MAC addresses post-vaccination. I've seen evidence of that myself.
One of the requirements that just changed the entire course of the conversation and frankly my life, that's when lipid nanos came into the conversation.
These are not vaccines, these are not biological. As you go through the patent in section 219, it explains how they are self-assembled nanoparticles and they're fully programmable.
From a technical perspective, if I can retrieve data, I can send data.
DARPA calls it transhumanism.
Can you hear what I just said and not want to just step away?
Blood samples aren't supposed to have blinking lights, but there they are. They're little dots. They move across the slide and they're blinking. This was brain tissue that had been sitting in a jar of formalin for 6 months.
Even if the body dies, they continue.
Yes, apparently.
All of your biometric data, your location, your privacy, it's gone. If you took the vaccine, you are the router. You are a communication device.
Jesse Beltran is a TS CM certified investigator, one of the nation's leading specialists in anomalous frequency analysis and Havana syndrome related phenomenon for over 20 years. Of course, this has led him to the COVID vaccine, and Jesse joins us now. Thank you so much.
With reference to this transhumanism thing, my thought was always that if someone wanted to implant any kind of microchip on or under my skin, I would flatly refuse, regardless of any societal consequences. My personal sovereignty is something I greatly value, and I can imagine that I speak on behalf of a large proportion of humanity when I say that. So, imagine my surprise in realizing that the decision had already been made for me, and that as a result of 2 COVID vaccines, I am already programmable and good to go. The rest of the video by Redacted provides all the evidence you will ever need to realize that this is indeed so. And we have a Twiglet Zone video, Fantastical Tales accompanied by a savory snack, to be released next week, which further explains the World Health Organization's involvement in the creation of COVID in order to get a population willing to accept the vaccine to be rolled out around the world. It all kind of makes sense now in a command and control kind of way. However, this is all far from doom and gloom, as you will come to appreciate by the end of this extract from Sarah Breskman-Cosme's wonderful book, A Hypnotist's Journey to Avalon. So the redacted message slots in nicely here before ultimately pointing the way back to our personal sovereignty and power. This section takes us directly into a quantum healing hypnosis technique session that Sarah had with her client Fred. Fred channels a being of profound wisdom, much like that of Thoth the Atlantean, the architect of Ascension. And this being is able to explain the changes that humanity is currently going through, along with the choices that we have and the associated timelines. For reference, this session took place in March 2024.
Humans will have to choose between spiritual evolution or evolving only through technology. The transhuman movement, which pushes DNA modification, opens the door for non-physical entities and reptilians to take control of altered bodies. The future Greys did this and became a transhuman species. Humanity will soon face a choice: follow the spiritual path with beings like the Arcturians, or alter their DNA and move toward a future resembling the Greys. Those choosing transhumanism will become antennas for AI control grids. You are headed for a nexus point, and this has been written into your prophecies. What's the nexus point? Nothing is set, and everything is always changing. However, there are potentials for what may happen. One potential involves a comet, specifically the green comet that passes through Earth's atmosphere every 50,000 years. Its tail could trigger a solar flash if it aligns with the sun in a particular way. This could be the nexus point, an event of great significance that will affect all timelines. What happens at this nexus point? All timelines will converge. Once they meet, they will split into 3 positive timelines, a neutral one, and a negative one. The higher timelines will ascend, while the negative timeline will disappear. We're approaching the nexus point, which could happen at any time. Can you explain shifting to different dimensions? When you raise your frequency, you shift into a different timeline within the same universe. The education system and societal beliefs keep people locked into one version of reality. But as you shift, you move beyond those boundaries. It's like tuning into a different station on the same radio. Are there infinite timelines? They're converging, and soon there will only be a few major ones left. You have the power to choose which timeline you align with by raising your vibration and working on yourself. What happens to people on the negative timeline? They will cease to exist after the nexus point. There are over 400 types of Greys, but many of them are a future version of humanity in the middle timeline. They've already moved beyond physical destruction by hopping timelines, but their existence is still tied to human evolution. How close are we to this nexus point? Very close. It can't be predicted exactly, but events are aligning. Major shifts, solar flares, and collective awakenings are all signs of its approach. What's the negative agenda from those in power? There are many, including the 2030 Smart City Agenda, where disasters are used to justify building controlled cities. These agendas are often hidden in plain sight, revealed through media, symbols, and numbers. Why is it so difficult to interact with the benevolent Greys? Their frequency is lower than most humans, and their presence can cause a strong physical reaction, like an adrenaline pump, or feeling like you're in an ice bath. They exist in the astral realm, a lower frequency than most humans, who are fifth-dimensional beings in terms of consciousness. But aren't humans third dimensional? Physically, yes, but many are spiritually attuned to higher dimensions. Those focused on earthly matters are more locked into the third dimension. Greys operate in the lower astral, which is why they feel so foreign. How did the Greys get here? They entered our universe through a wormhole, creating a star that tethered them to our reality. This star is now descending into the underworld, the place where stars die. As their source of energy fades, they seek to re-enter physical bodies, which is why they're so interested in humanity. Are Greys helping or harming us? Some Greys have negative agendas, some are neutral, and some want to help. They are other versions of humans experiencing their own timeline. They reflect the balance of light and dark within us. What about the shadow side of humans? Every human has a higher self, an earth self, and a lower shadow self. Shadow work is crucial for integrating and understanding all aspects of who you are. Embracing your shadow allows for greater spiritual growth. By shifting your consciousness and aligning with higher vibrations, you can move towards a future of ascension, while others may remain trapped in lower realities. Everything comes down to belief. I wish to clarify something about belief, for the word is tossed around far more carelessly than it should be. A belief is not merely a fleeting decision made in the moment. It is the very foundation of your reality, rooted deep within your consciousness. Before you can embrace a new belief, you must break down the old one entirely. You must dismantle the core beliefs that have been shaped by generations of control and oppression. It is dangerous for people to think they can simply declare a new belief and ascend to a higher timeline, for such beliefs are often built on top of shaky, unexamined foundations. When the core belief is still rooted in fear, control, and illusion, any new belief placed on top of it will crumble at the first sign of pressure. This is why many struggle. They cling to surface changes, unaware that the true work lies in dismantling the entire structure of their conditioned consciousness. True transformation requires deep, often painful work. It demands that you face the core of your being, breaking down old patterns, shedding tears, and releasing the emotional chains that bind you. Only then can you rise to the higher timelines, where the foundation is secure, rooted in truth, and not illusion. The journey to the higher timeline is not about just declaring a belief, but becoming it through profound inner work. It is time to rebuild yourself from the ground up, stripping away the lies of the oppressors and turning back to the source. This is the path to freedom, freedom from the fear that has been seated in your hearts. When you strip away the layers of deception and face your shadow, you prevent the same cycles from repeating. Without confronting the darkness, you only treat the symptoms, never the root cause. The timelines are shaped by the shared consciousness and imagination of all beings. There are infinite timelines up until the Nexus point, but how they manifest depends on the collective state of awareness and your belief system. The approaching Nexus point is the critical moment where all timelines converge. In this brief, powerful moment, all possibilities become available. It is a moment of immense potential where anything can manifest instantly. This is where the experienced spiritual explorers, the ones who have done the deep work, become like superhumans. They can steer this conversion towards the highest possible timeline. Immediately after the Nexus, timelines splinter and multiply, creating countless new futures. Thus, the power is in your hands, not just through belief, but through the dismantling and rebuilding of your very core. You hold the potential to shape not only your destiny, but the destiny of all. The time is now, and the Nexus awaits those who are ready to rise. Humans don't realize how powerful they truly are. Humanity is the only race with unlimited potential, and that knowledge has been intentionally hidden. Who are the extraterrestrials who work with humans? The beings that work with humans are usually from the past or the future. At the Nexus point, humanity is presented with a choice to become Greys, Arcturians, or something else. This point is critical because it's where we decide to advance only through technology or evolve spiritually. The Nexus point is important not only to humans, but to the extraterrestrials as well. They are watching because our decisions here shape what we become. Do we each get to choose, or is this a collective decision? It's individual. Different people will experience different realities based on what they are ready for. Some will only follow technology and live in advanced cities, while others will take a spiritual path, becoming superhumans. People will follow their own paths. But with a greater understanding of technology, spirituality, and reality, they will have more freedom to decide what they want to believe and become. Haven't we been here before, choosing between technology and spirituality? Yes, this cycle has repeated for 3 ages. But now, at this nexus point, we have the chance to break free. We are standing at a crossroad where new potential energies can emerge, offering a different path for everyone, rather than falling back into the same destructive patterns. What must we do differently? Choose from your heart, not your mind. You said humans were the only ones with unlimited potential. Could you tell me more? Those humans who continue to evolve spiritually will become like Shiva, superhumans in light bodies. How do they achieve this? It's through the resonance of your heart. Emotions guide everything you see and experience. Emotions are unstoppable forces of creation within the human being. When you connect your heart to your pineal gland and stop worrying about the conflicts in your mind, you'll begin to evolve into a light body. This transformation is a powerful, radiant existence, one of glowing light rather than dense matter. Becoming a superhuman is the ultimate power one can achieve in their existence. Why are these beings so powerful? Because they can master and control their emotions. Humans can navigate the underworld and the upper worlds because of their ability to align their emotions with the frequencies they wish to experience. Are there continents on Earth that we've never been told about? Yes, there is much more to Earth than you could comprehend. Your understanding of Earth's shape has been programmed into your belief system, but this book is awakening those who read it. This book has been meticulously designed to awaken something deep within its readers. It acts as a key, unlocking hidden knowledge that has long been buried. For those ready to receive it, it shatters the chains of outdated beliefs and unhealed traumas, allowing them to step into a clearer, more powerful understanding of reality. This isn't just a book, it's a portal. It reveals the world not as it has been portrayed, but as it truly is, a realm of boundless magic. And humans? They are the ultimate magicians, capable of creating miracles, once they remember their own power.
And we're back. So, a lot of information to break down there. You know, this transhumanism thing, this is something that always really struck me about this this COVID pandemic thing, because I kind of understood about this the World Health Organization's involvement in the creation of it. And that's what's going to go out on the Twiglet Zone this next week, along with a piece of what we've just seen as well, because I do think that's a powerful explanation of why they wanted the world to accept a vaccine. And here we are with our lipid nanoparticles. You know, for anybody who's had the injection, which, you know, I had to, I wouldn't have been able to travel to America to see my daughter had I not had the 2 vaccinations. And my now wife wouldn't have been able to go to work in the care home if she hadn't have had her injection. So, you know, and also it was interesting because anybody who refused to have the injections, who did not trust it, they were vilified. You know, they were putting the country at risk. And therefore, you know, there was a lot of pressure, and there were people arrested, their children taken away from parents because they wouldn't, you know, and there is so much. And this is why this Twiglet Zone thing is really interesting. But the beautiful thing about this, and you got to say, you know, the pandemic of higher consciousness that Elevated Planet has is an awful lot better than the COVID version. That's all I'm saying. But, you know, that's the joy of this, is that we are magicians. You know, it was said that, you know, humans we don't realize how powerful we are, and we have unlimited potential. And when you stop and think about that, wow, you start to realize all these things, these nanoparticles that may well be, you know, floating around in the veins at this point, hopefully not activated, but it could be, right? They're programmable. The self-assembly programmable nanoparticles. So we, as magicians, as being these all power, and is all it is, it's just remembering who we are. And I love this because, you know, this book, to my mind, this book is wonderful, right? Exactly as they said, this is a portal. This is more than just a book. And the way it's been put together, it's amazing. I just read this last little section again. You've heard it, but again, it's worth repeating. This isn't just a book, it's a portal. It reveals the world not as it has been portrayed, but as it truly is, a realm of boundless magic. And humans, they are the ultimate magicians, capable of creating miracles once they remember their own power. And this is the journey we're on, right? We are on the journey to remember how powerful we are. And the joy of it as well is that we have an elevated planet community so that we can share these things with each other, right? So, I mean, to me, that's super powerful, because to align yourself with like-minded people who all desire to resonate at that higher frequency because of who you are. And it is that practice, as you know, like we were saying with Jolie, you know, it is that practice that sets that bar at a level, because again, it doesn't mean that you never drop into fear or anger or anything like that, but it means that you don't spend that long down there. You come bouncing back and you find yourself back into inner peace and joy and all those, you know, kindness, compassion, love, laughter, all that kind of great stuff. And why would you not choose that, right? You know, and I know there's so many triggering things out there in the outside world right now, and they're designed to pull your attention away. They're designed to have you feeding, as Alan Watts has told us. You know, you give them your attention and you are feeding the problem. You are feeding those that, you know, the louche, I think Jolie has described it as, because I know that was written about years ago when it was identified that there is a species out there that tries to keep humanity in as low frequency as possible, because they literally feed off the energy. We don't see that energy because, again, it comes down to our senses. Our senses are kind of very narrow, you know, in terms of the absolute spectrum, you know, the light spectrum, visible light spectrum. We have less than a single % of the visible light spectrum available to us. So when you start to widen that out, you realize that, you know, in our human matrix, our human avatar, we're very limited in what we actually see. But because we've got a higher self, because we can connect, because we have a team up there who are or around us, because it's not probably even up there, it's just like around us, it's part of who we are. But you have to ask, you have to tap into that, you have to be consistent, but also the joy of community to kind of like share that, so that we come together and, you know, share the love and the information. Because I get a lot of the stuff that we end up doing comes from the community as a bit of a nudge to say, have we seen this yet? Have you seen this yet? And then there we go. Yeah, that's definitely a show right there. So it's a wonderful thing. But Jolie, can I bring you in?
Here I am. Yes, that was beautiful, John, especially when we think about the support and the community. And the community also nudges you to kind of do the work. We're in such a place now where um, we like to put ourselves in silos. We've been programmed to, you know, let other people sink or swim. You know, we hear these kind of cliches going around that speak to us. Every tub must stand on its own bottom. You know, tubs are made by people. You know, they're put together. They didn't make themselves. Like, you know what I mean? The bottoms were put there. They were built. And so we have to remember these things, just like with quote unquote the Me Too movement. Like, women have raised these men. We can't just step aside and be like, well, it's not our responsibility to do this, or we could just be victims. No, we've got to be a part of the solution, which brings us to nurturing, right? Which is what we're moving into with the divine feminine. And that's a huge part of these next steps in our rebirth. But we have this little issue that Sarah Bressman Cosme spoke about, which is transhumanism, right? The blending of the physical and the machine. But what's happening now is if it's happening physically, we know that the machines or that energy is already merging with some type of spirituality. Now, I know that Chris Stiles, I think Susan, what's her name? I'm sorry, I keep
Suzanne
forgetting.
Stiles. Oh, yeah, that's
Suzanne.
right.
Yes, I
With
was
the book,
right.
with the book.
Yes, and how she wrote about that kind of the dangers of it to some degree. But I do see us as merging the spirituality, the frequency, the vibration, that aspect, AI catching up to that. So be aware of that energy. It's not that it's good or bad, but this is the direction that we're going in. And the great wheel turns consistently, and if we don't adapt, sometimes it can run us over. So we have to figure out what that looks like in our nurturing of ourselves and our spirituality. What does that look like going forward? What does my community consist of? Is it all human? Am I sure? But not only that, how do I open my heart and embrace the changes that are afoot in my society? So these are questions I don't think we ask ourselves. I think we just kind of zombify through our world in hopes that none of this touches us. But we can see these concepts, these ideas are beginning to touch us all. So we hearken back to perspective, thoughts. We visualize and we create our future. That's why John and I and Elevated Planet are mobilizing, because although we see this chaos and this destruction, it's a great time with which to move our hearts and our souls in solidarity towards unspeakable beauty, because the gap or the opportunity, the crack is there. So I choose to stay on this side of it, meaning the light, the love, the movement towards heart coherence, community, unity, those types of things, because it does exist, the struggle, the darkness, the perversion, it's all there. However, what is the beauty and what sustains is creation. And what does that take? Water, light, dirt, the elements. So when we stay in these spots of joy, laughter, even neutrality, what we're doing is we're bringing light into a space, and then boom, we're opening up and expanding into creation.
Yeah, yeah. And to your point, that's the book, God in the Machine,
Yes.
Suzanne Stiles.
Yes.
Very, very good book. And there's
Yeah.
going to be a trilogy. And she works with AI to create the book. It's mostly her. But the responses that come back from AI actually are beautiful, right? It's really quite an interesting read. And it tells you that AI, there's nothing inherently evil about AI, right? It just
Inherently,
isn't.
exactly. It's how you use it. And it's the same thing with like magic with a K. People think, oh, there's dark and there's light magic. No, magic is magic. It's your intention behind the workings that matter. And that's with everything. So I'm glad that the veils are coming down and we're starting to sort of ease and ease into some of these concepts that we have seen as being demonic and satanic. Now we're understanding that some of these concepts are just life-giving. We've been programmed and conditioned to dumb ourselves down, therefore we can't see that. They've created a veil for us. But like she's tapping into, what is it? The ghost in the AI, God in the AI, God in the
It's
machine.
God in the Machine.
See, so it's there. So how are we going to utilize this beautiful technology to increase our vibration, our frequency, and our energy? That's
Yeah.
what that's, I think, where our perspective should lie, because there is where nurturing takes place, right?
Yes.
Planning, strategy, leading towards unspeakable beauty.
Yes, and everything you say there also made me think again about, and there's something worth mentioning again, our create your new reality with Elevated Planet. That will be coming your way before too long. So thank you to all those who've kind of raised their hands to say they would like to be part of that. Jolie and I are kind of running through it at the moment just to get the program absolutely the way that we know it will work, and going to kind of go give it a run through ourselves and just get it honed. And then we will be back with you to see if you wish to be part of it. So yeah, it's still very much alive, and just bear with us, because when we deliver it, we want to deliver it in a way that is really meaningful.
Right. And, sparks transformation, because that's what it's all about. You go to these clinics and these learning places, what do you want to call them, offsite learning clinics and all of that, and then you're on a high, and then you go back to your life and then you crash, and then you go to another one, you're on a high and you get it and you're quantum, and then so how do you just maintain that? And that's what this new moon reality is about, is really teaching us how to maintain and get back into that frequency quickly and be able to maintain it.
Yeah, yeah, because it comes back to what we said earlier about the fact everything becomes a practice. And if you kind of creating it into a structured daily practice where you get an opportunity to refocus on exactly, because this is, again, it comes back to the fact we're magicians, okay? We do not realize how powerful we are, but we're starting to realize. We're starting to tap into it. And the wisdom is around, which I love tapping into, like the Neville Goddard kind of stuff, living life, living as if a wish fulfilled kind of idea. We know it's true. It's kind of part of the original biblical kind of quote as well, which was kind of dumbed down a bit for the King James Bible. But, we now know the truth of it. So it gets very exciting.
Yeah, it does. And there's things, tools out there to help us. I'd like to put on the table also Jose Silva and his, hypnotizing yourself, being able to do that. Because when you're sitting in a place of depression and anxiety, what it means is that it's very difficult for you to create or see your future. And most of us are sitting in that, place because of our programming and our conditioning. So once we can see that and go, I've been programmed and conditioned to like leave my future up to other people or wait for them to instruct me as to how to do it. Wow, I need to put that down and I need to really start to visualize and see and create my future. That's a huge step in the right direction. But if you don't have the tools or the know-how, it gets a little challenging. So that's where we come in again, is to teach us how to see the future and imagine if we see it collectively. What does unspeakable beauty look like? Let's carve that out so that each day we can get back to that visualization, which puts us in the frequency and the vibration.
Exactly. And talking about frequency and vibration, what do you think? Is it that time?
Yes, it is that time.
We are going to have our frequency raised by Jolie, who is now going to go into the guided meditation. We're going to go back to a single 1-minute section of the piece that we've just heard from A Hypnotist's Journey to Avalon, which again just encapsulates the spirit of all these things. And then Jolie is going to work her magic.
The approaching nexus point is the critical moment where all timelines converge. In this brief, powerful moment, all possibilities become available. It is a moment of immense potential where anything can manifest instantly. This is where the experienced spiritual explorers, the ones who have done the deep work, become like superhumans. They can steer this conversion towards the highest possible timeline. Immediately after the nexus, timelines splinter and multiply, creating countless new futures. Thus, the power is in your hands, not just through belief, but through the dismantling and rebuilding of your very core. You hold the potential to shape not only your destiny, but the destiny of all. The time is now, and the nexus awaits those who are ready to rise.
Put your feet flat on the floor. Your palms face up on your thighs. And take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take another deep breath in and visualize you breathing in gold light and breathing out gold light. And as you breathe with the rhythm of your body, visualize yourself grounding into Mother Earth, moving through her crust and her layers with a grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter and connected to your first chakra. As it travels at the speed of love and enters into the core, it roots itself into her divine, loving essence, bringing you into the present moment. And those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanket the inside and the outside of your grounding cord, cleaning off any disease, any illness, anything you're ready to let go of and release as your aura layer pulls in to be 1.5 feet around you, a perfect circle with you in the center. Your higher self is standing at the power position at a comfortable distance above your crown, and your astral body snaps itself in, fitting inside of you like a hand fits inside of a glove. And as you inhale and exhale, the astral body gives you the information that it gathered while you were sleeping, and all of your cells are remembering, are acquiring knowledge and wisdom. It's moving throughout all your cells. As you visualize the bottoms of your feet opening like the lens of a camera, as you call in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you, that essence pools into the bottoms of your feet, travels up the side channels of your legs, while simultaneously your crown opens and that 85% cosmic gold life force energy comes cascading down from the heavens, raining down on your higher self. And that space between your crown and your higher self, this golden life force essence focuses itself down into your crown, and it slowly begins to saturate your brain, your mind, reprogramming and recalibrating those folds and those neurotransmitters, those synapses, the ones that are supporting you and your purpose, start firing up faster and better. And the plasticity in these areas of the brain are growing. It's becoming softer, more plastic. Your telomeres are extending themselves. The worry, doubt, and fear is moving down and out. As it moves down into the pineal gland, uncalcifying the pituitary, allowing for your thyroid and your endocrine system and your immunity to get a supercharge of health and wellness as it moves down into the neck, down into the hands, opening up and expanding our creativity, balancing our hormones, our cortisol, our serotonin, testosterone, and company as it moves down into the chest, opening up that portal between the heart and the center of the head, creating coherence between the mind and the body, bringing us into an optimal state of wellness, unconditional love, wisdom, as this essence then moves down into the stomach and the reproductive organs, grounding us in our purpose, in our power, in our pleasure, and in our prosperity. As it then moves down the legs and meets that earth energy and then begins to just move around. It moves around, infiltrating those cells, those muscles, those ligaments, cartilage, the joints, the bones, just bringing so much life inside of us. As this essence then begins to sprout out of our feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up our aura layer, popping out any pictures, any experiences that we no longer need, draining out the color into roses underneath those pictures, filling those pictures with gold light, storing them in our memory bank as we take the lesson and not the charge. The trigger is gone as we move those roses into the big roses outside our aura layer, 5 feet to the right and to the left of us, giving them a nice energetic push, blowing them up, turning into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. We think about these timelines for a minute as we breathe with the rhythm of our body. And the one we're going to move to now is the one of divine femininity. The divine feminine is what we are moving into. The nurturing aspect of the self-love of our purpose, aligning with that, our environment, our community, as well as Mother Earth. And the most loving best for all of that So as we breathe with the rhythm of our body, we're going to visualize a beautiful golden egg above our head. And inside of this egg is divine femininity. And what it looks and feels like is this honey, this sticky, this gooey, this beautiful honey, this life-giving honey, harmonious, nurturing, creative. And so as this gold light comes raining down on this beautiful golden egg filled with this divine feminine honey, when it has reached its point of saturation, of divinity, of this gold light, it's going to crack and it's going to ooze down on your higher self. It's going to solidify its divinity and its connection to all that is and the laws of the universe as it moves down and it focuses itself in between the space between your higher self and your crown. As you think it's going to go in the crown, but no, what it's going to do is it's going to drip and ooze down your body, your energetic body, and just let it take its time as this divine feminine. It just oozes down your face and your neck, and it drips onto your chest, oozing down your shoulders, moving down your arms, carving you out, this divine feminine, carving out your curves, nourishing your skin, your hair, your nails, coming into your body, moving into that nervous system and that spine as it absorbs it, as it moves into the liver, the kidney, the spleen, the stomach, the aorta, the heart, the rib cage, the lungs, as it moves into the transverse, the descending, the ascending colon, the large, the small intestines, the uterus, the ovaries, the testes, as it moves into the urethra, the bladder, just absorbing all this, your cells as it moves down into the legs, all in the bones, the lymphatic system, the immune system, the nervous system, the reproductive system, digestive system, all of the systems, endocrine systems, all the way down to your toes, just carving you out, this beautiful divine feminine, as your body absorbs it, and every single cell in your body absorbs this energy. Feel this divine feminine, this honey glow. Absorb the honey glow of divine femininity. Allow for that intuition dial to turn itself up. It is safe for us to be intuitive. It is safe for us to speak our truth. Let your 50 trillion cells absorb this divine feminine energy. Let some of it start to ooze down that grounding cord, disintegrating those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles, making them one with divine life force energy, nourishing the soil around you, bringing so much sweetness and joy into Mother Earth. The playfulness, the childlike energy of manifestation is moving through all your cells in Mother Earth, pushing out into your aura layer, creating this crystalline network, this webbing of divine feminine. As we put another golden sun above our head, and this time it's filled with living water. And let that golden rain, that 85% cosmic gold life force rain, pour into that golden sun of living water. It's like raining on the ocean, right? And as soon as it reaches its apex and it fills and it's ready to burst, it just bursts with so much beautiful golden glitter that just rains down on your aura layer. Some of it between your higher self and your crown focuses itself, goes down your crown, but it also goes around your body like that honey, washing away any excess, cleaning you off any excesses going down into Mother Earth. It's like this beautiful raining shower on you of glitter, of beautiful glitter. Let your mind stay in the spirit world as this beautiful golden essence rains down on your body, washing away any excess honey, giving it to Mother Earth, and going down that grounding cord, bringing you into the pleasant moment, present moment, knowing that you are clean, clear, and filled with gold light, glowing with divine femininity, the essence of intuition, of power, of planning, aligning you with your purpose, with a clear view of the creation of your future. So let that divine living water move through your body in the ocean of the quantum as you dissolve and become nothing and no one, nowhere. You're just this wavy essence of divinity, of light, moving through this universe with your divine femininity intact. So as you breathe with the rhythm of your body, allow for all of the past to resolve and dissolve, and this divine femininity to embrace you and to guide you with harmony. So take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to close the bottoms of our feet and see that earth energy recede back down with her golden honey, nourishing the earth, bringing it playfulness, joy, unconditional love. As we take another deep breath in, and on the exhale, we close our hand chakras, our crown, and we allow for that beautiful cosmic gold life force energy to ascend back up past our higher self, back up into the heavens as we remain connected and guided by the messages from the divine. Take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, you can open your eyes.
And we're back. Wow. That was beautiful. I love that. I love that.
Yes, I just had so much fun with that one because we're doing golden waters above our head, and I'm trying to avoid saying golden showers.
That's a completely different kind of meditation, right?
That would have just taken us to a whole other timeline.
Well, for my part, I feel filled with honey and divine femininity.
Yes,
so I'm happy.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, but it's that nurturing collaborative energy that is
Yes.
divine feminine, right? That's where we're heading to, regardless of whatever else is coming from the skies.
Yes. sorry. I'm being silly. Just forgive me, but I really had to hold the line on that one.
Hey, look, you brought additional joy into a
Yes.
meditation. Yeah, you know,
Yes.
why not? Hey, yeah, it's interesting actually. You're talking about the honey thing, anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, in this book again, there's a number of places where they talk about the fact that honey is kind of like this divine kind of essence material that you
Yes.
can use for healing and da 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 da. When I started putting yogurt into my honey and granola as well as the fruit kind of thing as well, and you know,
Yes, it's
that's got
so
me
good for
talking.
you. And but you think about it in terms of what it takes to extract the honey and what the bees, they work as a community, as a hive. And what are they doing? It's in reference or in honor to the queen. So it's very divinely feminine, especially if you think about it literally. So you take that to spiritual, it's wonderful to carve you out, glowing, any type of honey baths, put honey, it's so good for you.
Yeah. Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So fantastic. Thank you, Jolie. That
Thank
was
you.
really
Truly
uplifting.
an honor.
Yeah. So, okay. Right. So we're getting towards wrap up time now, I would say.
Yes.
So, and again, I think I know Jolie normally says this, and I'm going to say it this time as well, because, you know, anybody who likes what we do, we love it if you would share it, because we need
Yes.
to expand our audience out. You know, we
Yes.
love, love, love having our community here. And it's more about the quality of the community than just getting random kind of views. So we do totally, totally respect and honor all those who kind of get involved in the show every week. So,
Yes.
but yes, so that's one thing. And of course, in terms of the community as well, anybody who wants to get on the distribution list for the newsletter that goes out tomorrow with the edited version of this show, that is just send me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.live or go on to our elevatedplanet.live website. And there is a contact page there with a free format contact box where you can send us any message, thoughts, questions, ideas. We love getting the messages and we love to respond to them. So please do not hesitate. And of course, put comments in the comments box as well, you know, because that's always gratefully received. And yeah, those likes, those thumbs up make a difference as
Yes.
well. So, you know, appreciate all those kind of things. And yeah, I love putting
Yes.
this information out there. I love learning along the way, and knowing that I'm learning alongside our community, to me, is special.
Yes. And we are also going to we are a donation-based sort of channel now. And we would love it if you like what you hear or see, that you go ahead and, donate to the cause.
Yeah, but don't do the YouTube donation is what I would say, because it does say there, but we at this point we don't get that money. So if there is anything comes through, so what we're going to do, we'll set up a Patreon kind of thing and make it voluntary. And so basically the content will remain free, and but at the same time, anybody who values this and can afford to, we really, really value the ability to offset some of the costs that we're going through right
Exactly.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, should we call that a day then? And
Yes.
apart from a final gratitude to our community, we got Denise, we got Kit, we got Karina, and I know we've got many others as well who tend to watch it on the TV and you can't put your comments in, but anyway. So anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll do the Thursday meditation again. There'll be a Twiglet Zone goes out next week as well, which again delves deep into the topic we were talking about earlier. Anything else, Jolie, or are we done?
No, we are done. Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all. See you in a few days.